action TV and podcast, Deconstruction Junction, January 10th, 2025. Can you believe that we're about a third, if not already a third, through the top month of this year? It is absolutely nuts. I am Dr. Flo, online coach and mentor. I help bold dreamers follow their bliss every day by encouraging, equipping, and empowering them to use their time, talent, and treasure for good trouble and the making of it on the planet. I am a co-conspirator and I have an accomplice in the wonderful Tara Paolo studio, who I believe is in a position to introduce yourself to the crowd.
I am. You guys are lucky because the baby is being quiet for a moment. I'm Tara Paolo. I'm your resident white-facing, biracial, multi-passionate musician, and I talk about the issue that no one child wants to talk about and push you to do the same. I will say that oftentimes I feel like I'm talking about the ish and then like suddenly it becomes popular culture, but I don't know if that's just like the universe and the algorithms being like, I heard you talk about this, so now I'm going to send you the stuff, or if it's just that I'm always ahead, which is cool.
You could be on the pulse of what's happening around you and walking in mindfulness.
It could be. And also proud to be an accomplice to all of the things, because we do many things. Isn't it interesting how we went from ally to accomplice to abolitionist? If you're not an abolitionist, what are you doing? Like, come on. Anyway, okay.
I almost said to arsonist to burn it all down, but then that's too soon. Shout out to LA.
Yeah, shout out to LA. Listen, I've seen the posts, y'all. I've seen them. I know that it's not just rich people that live there. I'm sorry that you're losing your homes. And also, when do y'all want to talk about climate change? Like, for real? Like, I know it's too soon, but like, do y'all want to talk about it yet? Or no? Piper wants to talk about it. Chewbacca. We would love to have more accomplices on this show. You see where it says your name here, ? I pulled one of those yesterday in my adopted Black artist post. Where are you? Nominate yourself. Nominate each other. Nominate the Black people that you know. Nominate the accomplices, the abolitionists, the arsonists in your life. Not an actual arsonist, though, folks. Like, don't.
People who want to tear down and demolish the status quo. That's what we're here for. And we're going to start at Tara. You.
Yes. Okay. It's really small. Hang on. Let me go to full screen. All right. I got it. Things I believe should be free. And this is just, I feel like where we start. You know, like the things you should know about Dr. Flo and I is that this is where we start. Like when we wake up in the morning, this is it. Things I believe should be free. Food, housing, healthcare, childcare, water, Palestine, Sudan, the Congo, everyone. Like that's the base, y'all. Things we believe should be free. That. All of those. And it really, I feel like, should go like the bottom, you know, like the bottom to the top. I feel like things that I believe should be free. Everyone. Congo, Sudan, Palestine, water, childcare, healthcare, housing, and food. But in no particular order, I agree with that particular thread. So there's not a lot to chat about because I feel like we agree with the person that wrote this. But I just wanted to bring it to the table that like we can hold. There's this like, okay, because there's something at the end that you're going to get a kick out of because you love Christina and I love Christina. But anyway, I feel like there's this real, like there's a dichotomy, otherwise known as a binary, that happens sometimes where people are like, we can only focus on one issue, or they're like, holding all of the issues makes me too sad to do anything. Neither of those are helpful. Neither of those are helpful. I'm so like I understand that one thing activates most people, right? Like you have an abortion and so then you're an abortion activist. Oh, you know someone that had an abortion. Oh, you live in Minneapolis and you saw George Floyd murdered. So you're activated, right? However, you going hard for your one cause does not negate all of these other causes, and it doesn't mean that you don't have space to hold more than one thing. We can hold multiple truths, and we have to hold multiple truths, and we have to fight for the liberation of multiple groups of people, and we have to fight for freedom of food, healthcare, housing, these things that are basic human needs that literally every human being needs. We have to do that.
I think it's like, why have access to all of this wonderful technology to connect us to the solutions to our problems and not enact them?
Right. Also, speaking of technology, because we've been having this conversation with a certain group of people lately, as far as this morning, well, you've been having a conversation. I've been dealing with my screaming child. Um, but anyway, I got another one right before I got on here. There was a comment that was like, well, where's the link? Literally says in the post, go to the link in the bio. I really debate, and we talk, Dr. Flo and I talk about this all the time. Like, is it that people really don't know how to use their phones? Or is it like, I don't know what it is, but it's very strange and it's not helpful to getting all of these things free. You know? Like I genuinely don't understand it. I don't understand. I don't understand. And Dr.
I
Flo's
understand these gummy bears are so good. Um, I think, and I've said this internally and externally, that people will have to be spoon fed and onboarded into social activation. Meaning that if we don't make it easy for people to connect with us, they're not going to connect.
right.
We just did a little impromptu test bingo session over on my Twitch stream, and if it's not easy for people to download it and find me, they're not going to come.
Yeah.
Same thing with what we were talking about last week or privately with Poppy. It may seem like apples and oranges, but if you can't be in our space for 30 minutes and not cause a disruption, then we can't do this.
Right.
I think that people are going to have to learn how to stay in community and coalition.
Right. With technology.
That should make it easier. But I'm always in here talking about the fact that we need to be honest about what we're honest about.
Right.
And some of us are not honest about the fact that we just simply, I do, but a lot of people don't have the time or the energy or the desire to free these things. Remember, they can't free themselves because they don't believe that they deserve to be free.
Right.
A lot of people don't feel worthy of being free. Someone in their lives taught them that they had to do these particular 30 things and then freedom would be accessible to them. And they've been living in terror for 45 years and they've only done the first 12. So if we don't convince them that they're enough in their 12th item of the 30 things that their now dead parents told them that would make them add up and measure up, if we can't make them see that they are enough and loved and lovable exactly as they are today, there will be no freedom for anyone else because they'll be trapped inside of themselves. And they will not care about Congo or Sudan or Palestine or water or childcare or healthcare or housing or food because they're trapped inside themselves. And if I don't have freedom, can't nobody have freedom.
Right.
So we have to encourage, equip, and empower the people to find the confidence and the courage to desire freedom more than anything else. Because once you are fully desirous of your personal freedom and then you allow that internal freedom to overflow into your community, that's when it starts to have that ripple effect. This is why we've been hinting at it. These projects that I'm working on now locally will require joy. It will require right.
God, great joy, joy, joy.
It will. If hope and joy and some kind of joyful event can't be around it, we're going to be oppressed and suppressed into oblivion. And I'm not doing this regime this way. That's why we started deconstructing already, because I'm not doing this new regime, not new regime, new old regime this way.
Right. The current
We'll get back
president
to it.
and the past president. Crazy. All right.
Speaking of
What's
which,
next? Speaking of,
presidential bullshit. Let's go. Twice. That's Trump coming into Jimmy Carter's funeral. Al Gore, I believe that is, and Pence stands up immediately to salute him. He will sit and then watch this buddy behavior or just establishment keeping the peace.
fire is nice.
How did Michelle get out of this?
And like, why did they plan Obama next to Trump? Like, I mean, I know why, and like, also why. So.
And did you see that?
That was like football behavior.
That was the first one that got me. Like, it wasn't even him sitting next to Trump. It was like the thought, like, we homeboys? Weapons of mass destruction, much?
Why he hitting people with paper? What you doing?
Because he's a child. He's always been with the horseplay and the nonsense. The choir still sounds amazing.
And that tempo child, so slow.
I need you to watch the Clinton salute. Look at the way Bush got up.
Why is Al Gore next to Pence? I have so many questions about the seating chart.
You ain't even ready for the end of this.
So many questions.
It gets worse.
Hillary's hair be looking cray cray. Child.
I didn't even think I have the end of it. I don't even have the end of it.
We'll have to go fetch.
it goes on because In comes at the very end to sit in the front of all of that,
Joe
including the
Biden.
ice. Kamala and Imhoff come in and get iced out by everyone in the bleachers behind that you just saw sit down first.
Oh my God.
Let me see if I can.
I want to listen. There's like, okay, I was in this meeting today and we were talking about the fields of possibility and potentiality, and like quantum field. If I ever decided to go full out event planner, I want to be the person that does the seating charts at international events. That's what I want to do with my life. Oh, okay. I'm ready. Why is Obama? What is Obama doing? Back it up. Y'all gotta look at Obama's eyes. Did you all see it? Did you see it? This man is so mad. Cha. Why are they talking like that? Oh my God.
Exactly. It's all a joke. The whole thing is a joke.
And you saw Kamala's mouth go up. You see that? She just went,
yeah.
She did like a little sneer.
Look back to see Obama and Trump just hanging out together.
Doug be looking hella uncomfortable.
He's always.
He's no Tim Walz, I'll tell you that.
He's just like.
He looks so uncomfortable. Oh my God. Okay.
Could you imagine looking back and seeing Obama just hanging with Trump?
Can I just say that, like, while Obama is definitely talking back to Trump, I feel like Obama is like, you know, like in the group where there's like that.
Like I thought it was like cat and hat is what this is saying. This
right.
is cat.
It's giving very much like, I'm only talking to you because you're sitting next to me and I cannot be seen as the angry black man. Like that, like that's what it's giving to me. But
very measured, but
right.
He's always measured.
Very much. He's also a little slouchy. He's a little like, where is Michelle? Where is Michelle?
I was like, she got out of that. And I love it for her.
I wonder what she would have said to Kamala.
She probably would have waved at her and made her feel more comfortable than the rest of those asshats did.
That was wild. It was crazy. Ain't nobody wants to talk to Kamala. And where's Joe? Did Joe come in? Is Joe there? Did Joe go to the funeral?
Joe came in after Kamala and sat in the front. Yeah.
All right. I guess that's appropriate or something. Ciao. All right. I'm, yeah. Okay. Fellow musicians. Actually, I think this applies to every creative / every person online / every person ever. So I just need you all to listen. And if you don't understand something, feel free to ask a question. Okay. An influencer with 1 million followers won't judge you for posting. That one's for me. A concert master won't judge you for taking the orchestra audition. An artist with 1 million streams won't judge you for dropping an album. A serial entrepreneur won't judge you for starting a business. It's probably those doing less that are stopping you from doing more. Or at least your perceived idea of what those people may say back to you. And I thought that this was an excellent thread because Dr. Flo says this often, but I think it's a good reminder that, like, they're not going to judge you for doing the things that they did to get to where they are. They're not, these people that we perceive as better or perceive as more advanced, right? They're not going to judge you for that.
I found that people that had more than I had at that type of level, like the aspirational kind of level, to not even be thinking twice about what anybody else is doing. They're so focused on what they've got going on, so passionate about the things that light them up. They're not They're not thinking about discouraging someone who's on the rise. People who are doing less often have a lot of opinions because they need to justify and defend the reason why they're not doing their own personal best. And the way they do that is trying to tear down the people who post, audition, drop the album, and start the business. Because if you're doing it under similar circumstances, right? We had the same friends, we hang with the same people. You know, in some instances, we went to the same schools. In my instances, we were in the same shows. You know, we were in the same theaters together. That you know, why did you keep going and I stayed where I am? Let me not do that. Let me just discredit it, or in my case, ignore it altogether. A lot of the people that I came up through the ranks with didn't keep going. So now there's not a lot to relate about without there being some kind of like, not me imposing it, but a superimposed toxic shame in the space. At least that's what it feels like energetically. And I'm like, once again, I did it. At times it was a challenge and struggle. But I'm not going to judge anybody for wanting to be in their own personal excellence. That's what a hater would do. All right, y'all. I'm going to talk about justice for Charles McNair. We have been, I thought you were stopping me. I halted me for the previous slide. We have been engaging this organization for almost a week now. There is a gentleman named Charles Anthony McNair. We believe that in the time of his life when he was convicted of a crime, that he believed that he had no choice in the matter. And we just want to speak his name and encourage everyone to go to our link in bio and continue to fight for his freedom. Sharing who he is and what you know about his story once you do discovery of your own is going to be amazing. And then just taking action to call and email every day, as I've been doing, could really bring some national attention to this man's story. Tara, what sticks out to you the most about Charles Anthony McNair?
You know, when I look at cases like this and when I see them come across, one of the things that I think, I look at things as like, okay, what questions am I going to get? And I just want to remind that we have a really twisted way in this country of dealing with people generally, but also dealing with people that we perceive are guilty. And so I think one of the things about this case that is, you know, well, he pleaded guilty is what some people are going to say. Or, you know, he was found guilty. And I just need to remind you all that the sentence back then was supposed to be 10 years. 10 to 12 years, 12 years maximum for what he was convicted of. This man has been in jail for over 40 years. In fact, I think it's 47. I think is the number.
44 years and counting, and no one can really tell us why.
Yeah. So to me, it sticks out that there's just not a care. And like it also speaks to the larger picture that I get from this is like it very much makes me think about how little incarcerated individuals are tracked, like, and how we the public don't know a lot about the people that are imprisoned. And like it makes me think very similarly about like the adoption industrial complex and like what may or may not happen with this incoming administration or regime. It makes me think about like all of the people that are unaccounted for, but that like we have one nugget for it. And so I think, like we were saying in the first thread, like freeing Charles helps us free other people like Charles, and also helps us get tabs on these things, because it's insane to me that, and we know this from, hey, here, we know this from researching the case just over the last couple days, and this is knowledge that's available, y'all. Like, when you read the articles, you're not going to find a lot of like screenshots of things, right? Just that he's in jail, I just,
and he's in jail for he's in jail laboring and cleansing their system
right,
as a janitor for 40 cents a day. So he is maintaining spaces for other people who may be guilty of their crimes, but instead of paying someone a fair wage and a living wage to maintain even the prison, they've been paying this man 40 cents and presumably lower than that over the last 44 years to have him maintain their system of corruption and punishment. I don't think that's okay.
right. And by looking at these specific cases, sorry, I lost where I was going because my child screamed. By looking at these specific cases, I think, unlike cancel culture, by looking at like individuals that this has happened to, what we're actually doing is then taking we zoom out a bit and we see these bigger problems, right? Like the fact that over 57% of the people, I think it's 57% of the people incarcerated in North Carolina are Black. The population is not 57% Black there, folks. It's just not. Are you okay? We're faking it. That's a whole new thing. So yeah, I really think, if you need something to hold on to because everything feels really big, this has very easy action steps of calling the governor and calling the clemency office. And there's an email set up for you at lovedandlovable.bio.link, 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 if you choose to engage this. This is something you can hold that helps one person get free. And if we can help one person get free, then we can help a group of people get free. And then once we help a group of people get free, we can help a lot of people get free, and then we can help the world be free and liberated. So
I'm called into the story. I'm pulled into it, and I cannot ignore that he is who he is and where he is. And if I were in that situation, a lot of religious people talk about taking care of the other, loving the neighbor, caring for the stranger. If I were in that situation that he's in, I would want someone to care about me deeply and profoundly and be advocating for me elsewhere. So we're going to just do our best to bring national attention to this and continue to ask questions about the things we don't understand about the case, seek that clarity, and then also seek clemency for him. What's up next for you here?
Okay, so I just wanted to lift this because, again, I know there's a lot to hold, but there are little things, right? Stacey Abrams talks about this on her podcast, which is called Assembly Required. If you haven't listened, you should give it a listen. Those of you that are severely against AI, I invite you to go listen to her 2 episodes on AI. She does interview a musician, KNA, that's from like probably 2 months ago now, and then she also had one that just came out the day after Christmas. So Stacey Abrams talks a lot about like the small things. She calls it the toolkit, like the things that we can actively do as one person, right? So like we're talking about Charles McNair. You, one person out there, you can call the governor's office. That is something small that you can do, right? So one of the things that I can do as an activist and as a person in the classical music field, with the gift of singing and with a gift of learning music and with a gift of the things that I do, is to introduce people to Black music, right? And Black composer music specifically, because it is so underrepresented in the classical music world. And sorry, that made me think of, there were all these videos on like on the TikToks of, they were like light skinned, and I was like, no, dark skinned.
Represented. It's been represented. All the music has been represented. It done did be represented.
Here. Here.
We'll take a 30-second for the baby.
And we're back. And we're back. Okay, so this was a thread that I posted on Wednesday. I had a very productive rehearsal of arrangements of Black spirituals, all by living Black women composers today. This music is not inaccessible, and it should not be reserved for the ends of concerts. These pieces can be used as part of the canon to teach young singers and young pianists alike. More collegiate undergraduate programs should be utilizing these pieces. Every person I've introduced them to gets excited. That's a typo. Anyway, gets excited about the potential of how these pieces could be used. Thank you to Rose Finney Powell and Jacqueline Hairston for your beautiful pieces. I've said it enough now that I'm starting to get confident in it, like that this is what I'm doing and holding that. And so this is a twofold thing of like, if you are a young classical musician, pianist, or singer, actually any musician, ask your teachers what Black composers you can play or sing. And if your teachers don't know it, go do some research and find someone. The big ones: Margaret Bonds, Florence Price. Like, DM me. I can get you a list of the main ones. Harry T. Burley. There's a ton. Moses Hogan. Like, there are so many. And so I just want you to know that, like, as a young musician, you are not without power to choose your own repertoire and to introduce these pieces, because they are accessible to you. And then on the flip side, those of you that are maybe seeking to do meaningful things with your career, I have always, this was from last year, this time, y'all have watched me. I have always grown in public, and I have always talked about my journey in the moment, right? And so you're watching in real time me decide and make a choice. Oh gosh, sorry.
We've watched Tara over the many years blacken the canon. That's what I call it. And it's important to me that artists are able to represent their own cultures in these workspaces. It's so important that if we are coming to a professional rehearsal space or to a performance space, it's important that we're able to bring all of ourselves, including our cultures. And for so many years, opera singers especially, I'm from a Broadway musical theater background. we've always been doing these works by people who maybe didn't look like us, or made to fit into these spaces. Some of us were. And it's important that we're able to just say, this reflects my people. This is from my worldview. I would like to express myself in these ways. Super, 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 super important. All right. I just wanted to talk a little bit today about faith-based joy. I've been going to a bunch of churches in town as I've been working and launching out into support of justice for Charles McNair. And I just want you to know that some of you people who go to faith-based institutions, also known as churches, some of you are not reflecting the joy of the Lord, as it were. And I feel, in my humble opinion, that faith-based practices and spiritual practices should lead us towards having lives that are more joyful and lighthearted and not so heavy. And there's just been a lot of heaviness. The word that was expressed to me, or the energy that was expressed to me, is that there's a lot of there's a lack of momentum in the way in which faith-based congregations feel compelled to go into the world and to help. And I am convinced that joy is going to need to be at center, and a major activator of what the work we're doing. If we're coming under regime, because everyone's saluting everybody at this funeral and carrying on as if it's just normal, what we're stepping into, we're either going to resist this regime with anger and fear and paranoia, or we're going to bring it from a place of joy. And I hope that our faith-based institutions and our mindfulness-based organizations find joy. Because I'm seeing too many yoga teachers crying the blues. And I'm seeing too many preachers say, nobody cares, so we don't care. We deserve better. We've always deserved better. What say you about faith-based joy and what you see as an outsider of the church, um,
I
from
think
your 40,000-foot view?
I think a lot of institutions have just lost their way. Um, uh, you know, I stopped going to church because the joy was not there. I stopped going to church because the people in the church were berating me at every corner. I stopped going to church because I didn't feel like being shamed for questioning why they were talking about it that way. And then I went to a little known fact, although many of you know where I went to college, but like we don't talk about it a lot. I went to Luther College in Decorah, Iowa, which is a whole Lutheran college, y'all. Like I went to a religious college. And at that college, I was lucky enough to be able to question and be able to take courses that really tore apart some of the things that people cling to. And so I just, you know, I don't I will say two things. I will say I don't understand the unquestioning belief in anything, really. I think that's a pretty not strong faith. I think you think it's strong faith, but it's not. Um, and I also just think these institutions get in the way of the good that that number of people can do. Right? And that like because that number of people amassed, when you look at like any of the major religions, and when you look at any of the things that like I mean even outside of religion, right, if we're talking about faith, like the number of people that are spiritual, the number of people that believe in universe, the number of people that believe, whatever, the number of people that believe in love, the number, like, it's a shame that we can't coalesce and utilize that power. And Crutches and Spice talked about this. I sent it somewhere, and I might have even brought it to Deconstruction Junction, but talked about hard and soft power. And I think there's a lot of faith and joy in soft power. And I think we can use more of that. So I absolutely agree that I think the reason that a lot of young folks are not activating, they're not in church, they're not running for office, is because so many of these institutions have lost the joy of it. They've just lost any kind of relevance, because who wants to go into something that makes you feel like crap every day? Right?
That's it. And they're going to continue to hemorrhage people until they learn how to throw a good party.
Right.
And I've been trying to tell the people locally that this is true. And some of them want to hear it, and some of them say, "Habba babba,
Happy baby.
habba babba."
Habba babba.
Everyone knows that you cannot report on a fire without looking snatched. Check this out.
Oh God.
Shopping, a place to eat. As you can see here behind me, it's been completely wiped away. There are still flames burning from multiple buildings here and smoke rising from the ash. Again, this is where the community would be at a time of shopping, a place to eat. As you can see here behind me, it's been completely wiped away. There are still flames burning from multiple buildings here and smoke rising from the ash. Again, this is where the community would be at a time of
David said, "I will not be looking like that." He said, sorry, my husband texted me. Anyway, David really done said, I will be snatched. Thank you so much.
Yeah, like I'm not going. I don't care if the whole town is on fire. If I am to stand here in this firefighter outfit, it is going to show what my fitness trainer is able to do for me. And what I think is so funny about it is that people don't really recognize that all of these newscasters, especially at that level, are members of the Actors Union. And so a lot of them move on the news and behave on the news the way that very highly trained and skilled actors and performers and presenters would. And seeing him cinched like that at the back, the way you would at a photo shoot, and it's all facade. It's all facade. And even when it's not all facade, it is partially one. And so you can't believe in the hype because they're trying to tell a story. And part of the story is his presentation. So that someone can be sure that he's not swimming in his outfit.
And so that he looks better than George. You know what I mean? Like that's a whole thing. There's a whole thing.
Say it again.
So he looks better than George.
Stephanopoulos.
Yes. Because David is the younger. Listen, there was drama. You know what I'm saying? David went out for the job because y'all know George used to be the political. Now David's putting clothespins on his clothes. So.
Shakedown in the house. Shakedown in the, what do you call it? In the bullpen. In the newsroom.
In the newsroom. Oh my God.
Oh, we're not doing that again. All right. On you.
Just hit play. We love Nicole.
We gotta dance, y'all. Motherfuckers gotta dance. We 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 gotta dance right now. We gotta do something to move this energy around. We gotta do something to move this discourse around. This is some Jupiter and Gemini energy. So much information, so much hot air, so much overinflation of shit, but nothing's actually moving anywhere, right? So we got to move this energy around differently. So we got to start dancing. We got to start getting in the body and dancing like we used to. I mean, in the club, on the ground, sweating with the sweat rag, motherfuckers holding you up while you getting on it with consent. But we gotta dance, because that is the only way I feel as if we're gonna get in our bodies enough to finally fucking grieve. Because right now, people refuse to grieve. We refuse to grieve the fact that this idea that we can just fix something with one election, or we can just do it if we have the right concept or theory, is going to get us anywhere. Y'all, we have got to embody our reality. And if it means we got to be dancing and fucking, we better be dancing and fucking right now with consent and protection, okay? But I'm being serious. Because just talking ain't doing shit no more. Right? And people are dying, but if we want to live, we are going to have to feel. We are going to have to embody our reality and realize that no matter how much we try to theorize shit, until we put that shit into practice, we are going to have the same results, and that's going to be more goddamn death. So we got to feel this shit, y'all. Get in your bodies, start to dance, start to feel, start to allow yourself to have your body turn on and grieve the reality that we are in, so we can figure out how to make a fucking future. So get in them bodies and get to dancing. And once you start to embody your reality, that's how we can start to strategically dream, right? But you can't dream of new realities, and you can't strategize from a place of possibility making that then you can take into the mundane and make reality, until you've actually faced the reality you're in. So get in them bodies, get to dancing, and feel, grieve, to release, so we can start to actually dream. If you want to dream with me, you can do so here. And as always, like, share, and follow for more.
I'm with her. When I lived in New York City full time for a decade, I used to love going to a weekend party event called Soul Summit. And it was just basically a 3 to 6 hour party, depending on how long you stayed there, of just soulful house music. That's something I want to bring to this community. I feel like if people were getting together under consent, like she was saying, and unharmful energy, it can really bring people together to just move your body, have the refreshments, have the party, and come together. And these were open air parties that we did in Brooklyn throughout the summer and on the pier. But I'm with her. Like, so many people are trying to spiritually bypass or somatically bypass exactly what's going on within them. And that doesn't benefit anybody. We talk about this here in the community all the time. If you tamp down your emotions like beach balls, they're going to eventually bounce out the water, and they could bounce out of your water in a way that's not healthy for you. So, why not move the energy, become one with where things are feeling in your body, where emotions are and where they move through you? We're a dancing house here. Poppy Water's always twerking on something, and I'm always in the kitchen on my TikToks and my Twitches, spinning somewhere. We're heavy on dance here, because that movement is another way to just keep things from settling in and getting so heavy. You know, you can actually shake it off, as that wonderful Taylor Swift says.
Shake it off, shake it off. I don't know. I think my child is trying to poop, y'all, because there was just a large fart that happened. So it's part in the that's happening. We're having a bowel movement. It's a thing that happens to babies. I don't know if y'all knew. If your baby doesn't poop, that's a problem. You should get that checked.
Not
You
just
should
a
also get it checked
baby.
if you don't poop.
Right, I'm about
You
to
don't.
say it's a universal concern.
What I loved about this video is not only like the encouragement to dance, the encouragement to get your body moving, like to move the actual energy. I think that's really like something that we have to do. Y'all, like, So many of us, because we live in the world, feel things, and then we sit in whatever that hypnotic rhythm of that emotion, right? Instead of moving through said emotion. And we talk about it all week long in boosts, y'all. Today's third eye Friday, which I think is that up? No, it's not. Yesterday's is up though. Throat chakra's up. Heart chakra's up. Those two are up. But we talk all week about moving through the parts of your body where those emotions end up sitting, where those feelings end up sitting. And I really think that some of y'all have been asking for ways, and you don't believe that it's this simple to like move the energy. It's as simple as singing. It's as simple as holding somebody's hand. It's as simple as dancing when there's no music. It's as simple as dancing with music. It's as simple as playing with your dog. It's as simple as throwing a basketball because you thought it was fun. Like, it is that simple. And the other thing that she says that I want y'all to catch is, it's in the second half of this video, is yes. And I believe in conversation. Y'all know I created a whole group chat because I believe that people need to learn how to talk to each other. And I still very much believe in that. I don't think we know how to talk to each other, y'all. And I think that is a huge part of why things don't move. But I think the other part of it is that half of us are so caught up in books and caught up in learning and caught up in like acquiring the knowledge that we're not doing anything. Right? We could have, Love and Action Network could have sat on this Charles McNair case until we had all the facts. Because we don't. We will openly say we don't. The one fact that we do know is that this man has been in jail for 16,471 days for something that carried a 12-year sentence, which, just by the way, that's a lot of difference, right? So
This we know.
That is a factoid we know. Now, we could have waited. We could have read all the articles. We could have blah, blah, blah. Instead, we showed up on the internet and we said, hi, this is what you can do. That's action. And so, yes, we need the education. Yes, we need the conversation, and we need the action. And it's the action part that the majority of people never take. They never take. For whatever reason, you never take it. And that's the part that we absolutely need. So if it starts with dancing.
We know why. We know why. High school never ends.
Right.
High school never ends. If you go with the idea that high school never ends.
My child's just on the move. We're good.
Oh, I see. The child's on the move. I was like, am I on the move? I was like, you were like looking into. I was like,
I know the child. So the child was over there and now is behind the computer.
If high school never ends, there will always be people standing against the wall wondering why no one's asking them to dance.
Right.
And that comes from the wallflowers. And that comes from the fear and paranoia of a parent or some adult figure disparaging and dislodging the courage and confidence of the child. Your child is very courageous and confident right now.
Incredible.
The only way that would be dislodged or discouraged, or that they would not have that same type of go get it in them, would be if at some point in their growth process you began to discourage that. We are not we don't isolate as humans. Like, humans like to explore and to expand. The only reasons why we don't is because of implanted fear. And we have to disrupt that. You and I reparent each other a lot. Around the stinking thinking that we got from the people who raised us about what we're capable of doing.
And the people who taught us, child, or tried to teach us what we were capable of, and they was wrong.
They taught us how to. Well, they taught me how to use half of my breath.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They taught me how to stay small. You know,
yeah.
Told me my voice didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they taught us to the extent that they could, and then believed that because that's the extent of what they could teach us, then that's good enough for us. We wanted to grow more. All this stuff is not happening in a vacuum. It's happening in real life. And so, yeah, let's dance it out. If not for any other reason than the fact that tomorrow's not promised. And so joy is something that we can step into the day if
Dancing
you
in the
want to.
grocery store, y'all. I do that. My husband looks at me every single time. He's like, "Do I know you?" And I was like, "You better stop dancing."
Are you dancing to the music in your head or the music that's on the overhead
It
PA
depends on the
system?
day. There's no music in the Aldi. There is music in the Hy-Vee.
There's no music in your Aldi?
No.
I always have headphones sponsored by the Tara Paola Foundation on my head, so Beyonce's with me everywhere I go, just like Jesus.
Just like Jesus.
Just
Okay.
like Jesus.
The crowning glory. In case y'all wanted to know the drama on TikTok, here you go. Yeah, just this is Oscar worthy.
We gotta dance,
Why
y'all.
does this
Motherfuckers gotta
keep
dance.
happening?
We gotta dance. We gotta dance. We gotta.
I swear to you all that I copy the right links and then it still ends up being a different link. That's okay because it is Rate Hizzle somewhere. Here she is. Oh, you're getting the preview. Oh no, where is the thingy? Where's the thingy? Y'all help. Okay, there you go. Private chat.
See no hold on. So lay our cards down. Whoa. Propaganda. Well, maybe, but it's deeper than that, so no. But there's a flag and an eagle. Yeah, but it's more than that. Maybe two things can be true at once. Why would listen to her? She suckled on the enemy.
Huh? What?
As a baby.
No.
How dare you eat as a child? I couldn't choose what
No
I ate then,
excuses.
and from who? I was making an important contribution.
Of the
because she
highest
brings up an
caliber.
alright point. What did she teach you? How could you sleep in an integrated womb? Huh?
Yeah,
I
exactly. I heard her father was an alien.
An alien?
He's green. Where is your suckler
he's
from?
No, my father, he's a black woman from Grenada. Ignore me over here. I'm just gonna talk for 40 days and 40 nights. Anyways, what I was gonna say is, I just don't think we should really believe anything that she's talking about, because what if she's saying isn't right, and then maybe there's something to be said about whatever she's talking. And I'm realizing something. Why every time we guess it's a white mama, it's a white mama?
You know what? Mm-hmm. Right.
Well, I'm really on neither side, but based on statistics, don't address me. I was trying to engage with the pool of thought. Pool of thought, huh. Nigga, I'm an ocean of thoughts.
Get him.
No one can yap as much as me. Anyways, what I was saying. So I'm gonna continue with my day and talking about a whole bunch of different things. And who cares if I make 50 videos? I'll make 50 more. All right, well, I'm not helping anything. I should see my ass out like y'all are telling
You
me
should.
to.
You only talk to women. Be a man.
Dang, y'all, I didn't know it was gonna be that bad. She's shorty wilding over there a little bit, right? Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about it no more. So apparently he's talking about me in secret.
Of course he is.
How did you find out? It was me.
You. No one could see this coming. We're shocked.
That's right. I did it. And what the fuck anybody gonna do about it? Huh? Stop me? You can't. I'm unstoppable. I know you like to fight short people, but I'm not 3 months old. I'm going on vacation. Suck my dick. This ain't Texas. Whoa. What did I say? What? I don't give a fuck what you guys are talking about. I'm just a cool guy. As long as I want. I'm just a cool guy. You want to talk to me. I don't. What am I supposed to do? We're not even fighting anymore. I think you're wrong. I think you're wrong, but they can everybody is insane. Where's the plot? What's the plot anymore? I'm enjoying it. I don't even know it. Yeah, no, I'm enjoying it because I'm messy. I'm messy.
That whole skit is the chaos of our society on full display.
It is also the entirety of the TikTok drama. So those of you that don't know, last week we talked about the biracial discourse that was happening on TikTok, which was because of the Beyonce discourse that was happening on TikTok, which has devolved now. So the suckling on the oppressor, that was the suckling on the teat of the oppressor, which is what Miss Thang said about Hannah, she always holds her hand like this. I don't know why I don't know. Anyway, but then this dude named Christian got involved. Like, just like he was like, yo, like 70% of black dudes, they sleep with white people and then babies. So no wonder it's a white mom. And this Tory girl was like,
Wait, what is the number?
70% or something like that. 70% of
Uh,
70%
that,
of biracial people have a white mom. So when you guess that it's a white mom, you're statistically correct because it's such a high number that have white
wow.
moms. Isn't that crazy? That's something to talk about. But anyway, like it's something to talk about, okay? Because it is. But anyway, this other girl named
It's
Tori.
only something to talk about because the numbers on the table.
Yeah.
Have I seen this in my life? Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
White men don't make that choice because
No.
it is a race trader choice that requires a certain level of compassion and care that women types, not to be in the binary, usually have. A woman is more likely to step into having compassion towards the other and loving a person and having children with them than a man that is steeped in white supremacist delulu. We
Right.
all know that white men pay a different price for bringing, not different price. I'm not trying to be that, but we've known in society that the price is different for a white man to bring a black woman home than it is for a black man to bring a white woman home. Despite all the shit that black people talk about, don't you bring that white woman in here? I heard it too. It's still more likely to evolve that way in all of my lived experiences I've seen. I can go down a list.
Agreed. So
and not the biracial children that I know, but the white girls who have the black baby fathers.
right. Well, and like okay. I'll finish the story and then I'll say something to that. So like Christian happened to stitch a video from this girl named Tori about that. So he stitched this video and then he was like, well, statistically, it's like, duh. And this girl, Tori, what Christina was referencing, this girl, Tori, made 49 videos about Christian and how horrendous Christian was. For Christian saying, these are the statistics. And Christian was like, to his friends only, he made a friends only video, was like, yo, this chick made 49 videos about me. Like, what the fuck? And somebody in his friends only shared it with Tori, and Tori made 50 more videos. And so now the discussion is what's too much, and we've lost the plot. But to your point, and this is a point that some other people have made on TikTok. Like, we spend so much time talking about how, which I find, I'm just like, I don't know where y'all get this from. But that white or that culture comes from the mother. And I think that's presuming that, like, well, first of all, it's leaning into the idea that men are not responsible for the children that they create. And that has always bothered me. And this is a whole different subject line. But like when I worked in healthcare and I was sitting at the front desk, it always bothered me that regardless the age of the birthing person, that person becomes the guarantor of the child. So it's always placed on the person that actually gave birth. And there is no responsibility placed on the person that impregnated, right? And it takes two, right? It takes a sperm and it takes an egg. That's what it takes, y'all. And so I find it really odd. I understand why we come for white women. I get it. I agree, folks, that white women are the most dangerous category. However, I don't understand why this whole discourse has not included absent black fathers. Mine was not absent, but absent black fathers, which is why so many biracial people are removed from black culture. Right? Like, if we really want to talk about it, like who is supposed to teach these biracial babies about blackness? The white woman that y'all done left the baby with? But then you don't want
who is so at times removed from Black culture itself, so doesn't know how to instill that kind
right.
of
Right. And then we don't, and then, you know, if they try, then we're like, well, no, you can't come into those Black culture, which I'm not, again, y'all, white women are dangerous.
then you
That's
end
not
up
what I'm
going
saying.
to
But
then you end up going to undergrad with a biracial person who doesn't even know they're Black and says racist things to you because they thought it was okay. Like, yo,
right. Or the biracial child takes, you know, again, my dad was an absent, y'all, but like, it still took me into adulthood to recognize some of the things that were said to me as a child were microaggressions and racism. Because I did grow up in predominantly white institutions. I grew up living in my white mom's house. Like, these were things that took place that removed a lot of my Blackness. And if you guys have known me for the last 10 years, you have watched the journey coming back to like who I actually am, right? Which is solidly biracial.
not
Y'all
back to my
thought
roots. Not back to my
back
roots.
to my roots, child. Back to who I am. I didn't say roots. Said back to who I am. Back to who I was born to be.
I didn't say roots. We got this episode. I didn't say roots.
I didn't say roots.
Kota?
I
Kota
didn't.
Kente.
I didn't. But yeah, I mean, this biracial discourse got a little yucky, and it was a little, and y'all can go listen to this podcast episode that I made about it. Like, it's called Waking Up Biracial. My child just locked themselves in the room. That's cool. I might have to get that. We're gonna see. But anyway, it's okay for right now. I think we're just playing with the door. But yeah, it was really interesting to wake up to 100,000 likes and comments on a video that basically said you're not part of the Black community because you suckled on the teat of your oppressor, as if we had a choice when we were born, as if we had a choice when we were made to be born what we are. Like, y'all both white and Black, y'all exposed an awful lot. Y'all showed your asses over the last week and a half.
That's also a conflation of an idea, because who was really suckling on the teat was the slave masters and their children on the Black mothers. That's
Right.
the
Well,
accurate telling of the story in
and
history.
the other accurate telling of the story is that biracial babies, yes, we were not in the fields, but we were in the house with closed doors. Like, you know, it's not, and I think, you know, I rightfully so, there is a lot of stigma surrounding biracial people because of what was happening in the 60s, 70s, and 80s of white presenting biracial people deciding to be white passing, right? And completely negating their Black heritage. However, that is not what I see from the biracial community currently. That is not, I would not say that that is the majority stance of biracial people today. Biracial people today understand that they are both, and we are also whole, and we are also Black. Like, we are biracial Black, right? Black biracial, whatever y'all want to say. Like, I think that, like, it's just, no one has a choice for how they are born, you know? And when we really think about it, like, you can't take people's, and this happens in the trans community too, right? Like, you can't take people's identities just because they don't look the way that you want them to look, or the way, and just because they speak the way that they don't speak the way that you want them to speak about a topic. You can't take people's identity just because you disagree with them. And that gets to the dehumanization of it all, right? Like, actively, communities that are oppressed and are marginalized are utilizing tools of the oppressor. And what just happened on TikTok in the biracial discourse was a whole bunch of white supremacy coming out the mouths of Black people, monoracial Black people, right? And some biracial people were like, yeah, I agree. I shouldn't have time. And I'm like, you are distancing yourself from your blackness. And that is wrong too. Because you are, and that was the problem in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. So again, I understand the history, and I really, the Christina's video was just funny to me, but it brings up the interesting conversation of like, how do we utilize the tools of the oppressor? And is there ever a time that we should? And how much anti-blackness is being directed at Black biracial people. Because there's a whole lot of biracial people that look a lot more Black than me and that want to engage in Blackness, but on the internet are forced to not because there is so much anti-Blackness spewed towards them. So, all that to say, keep doing the work. Quit taking people's identities, or quit trying to take people's identities. That's a weird thing to do. It's weird.
Stop trying to tell people who the fuck they are. That's weird.
It's weird.
It's weird. Also, biracial people are a symbol of the inevitable future, and people don't like that. They're resistant to change. People who want to stay in cultural tribalism don't like a physical representation of change walking about. And the people who wanted things to always be only Black or only white, they cringe when there is a living, breathing example of inclusivity and love. Biracial people jump the barriers of all of the limitation, and they can't stand it because they're fucking dinosaurs. Moving along, I'll make this very, very quick as we come to the end of our session today. We're so grateful for your participation. You're in Love and Action, Deconstruction Junction. Tara Paolo Studio and I, Andre and the Flow, jump on every week to deconstruct these large ideas that we have about life and try to make sense of them in public. It is our largest attended vlog series and podcast series. So thank you to the hundreds of watchers and listeners who tune in to hear our quirky thoughts about life. You too, yes, you are loved and lovable. We're calling our network for ceasefire. Ceasefire inside of our hearts and our minds, but also ceasefire in Gaza. The children, women, men, and other strangers of Gaza and of Palestine should not be suffering this hardship, mostly based on the color of their skin. And them not being God's chosen people. That's weird. That's weird. We will always call it weird. This should not have happened. And the fact that the United States stands behind it and sends weapons for the bombs means that when these people grow up, they will be coming back here for retribution. Because if you killed my mom and my grandma and my sister and my family, I would want you to pay for it as well. Nothing good can come from war. Nothing good can come from this retribution. And unfortunately, it seems like we're stuck in a cycle that serves our governments and capitalism. And that's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. When you see, as we saw earlier, Obama and Trump and Bush all joking, you'll see that this is just a band of war criminals hanging out at a funeral. They don't care about us and the rising costs of our food. Small grocery run today getting delivered $112. They don't feel it, but Americans do. And all of that money that went to destroy this particular piece of land in the world could have gone to feed our people, give them a living wage, give them access to health care, and to allow them to not live on the street. Instead, we place more people in the streets of faraway lands to have to figure out their lives with the remembrance that there are American flags on the sides of the bombs that fall. I think that this is not okay. And it's so weird to me that people are not speaking up about it. It's almost like being in the upside down. Why do you think it's been this long and people are still not having
I think so much of it is numbness. I think like we have, and rightfully so, in America, I think, we have a privileged ability to just go numb. I mean, I don't live in other countries, so I don't know if as many people just like put their phones down and leave social media when their country is being bombed. I feel like no, you know. Like we really live very privileged over here, regardless of who you are, with the access that we have and the choice that we have to either pay attention or not. And I think that for a lot of people, like the not paying attention is actually just because they're overwhelmed, they're overworked, they're overtired, they're, and so they just numb and they just can't hold it. But that goes back to the dancing. Y'all got to move through the emotion. We get that it's sad, right? Like Black people being shot in the streets is traumatic. That's traumatic, right? And it comes with a lot of guilt. It comes with a lot of sadness. It comes with a lot of anger. It comes with all of the things. And that doesn't get us anywhere, right? And so the option is to numb ourselves and just ignore it, or to pay attention and keep fighting. And I think a lot of people just really don't understand how to activate, or in how easy a way it is to activate. I mean, literally all like saying ceasefire now to your Instagram stories. Instagram stories will create it for you. There are templates still in my bio, tarapriolo.com/links for you to go download. Like these are not crazy or unattainable things to do. You don't have to build a whole network. There's probably a network you can plug into, right? There's probably somewhere near you that you can go volunteer. There's probably somewhere near you that's hosting a mutual aid campaign. There's probably someone near you collecting food. All of those things may not be sending aid to Palestine and Gaza, but they're helping the people around you, which means that more and more people can be activated and wake up because they're not starving, because they're not tired, because they're not overworked, right? And I think the recognition of the privilege, even though it's hard earned, y'all, like I get it. I get that we're working hard. I get that there's a lot of things to hold. But the option is not to put down your phones. I mean, we're not talking about Ukraine anymore. How often do you hear Ukraine, right? It's about to be the 4 year anniversary in February. It'll be 2 years in Gaza in October. And actually much longer than that, right? It'll be almost 80 years. So the numbness has gotten us here to right in this moment where it feels like, as activists, as light workers, as people that are willing to keep on saying the things, that we often feel very alone and very isolated, right? I often feel that way for like even being a person on the internet that like oftentimes lightly treads on current events, right? Or I just thread about it. I often feel very isolated in that, even though I'm in communication every single day with Dr. Flo, who is oftentimes much louder about it, right? It's isolating. I get it. But what I need you to know is that there are people out there still talking about this. There's people out there still fighting for this. A lot of them are Palestinian. A lot of them are Black, right? Because we get that all the struggles are interconnected back to that first thread that we share.
And we're also being censored. Like those of us who are saying ceasefire now, all they have to do is push a button in their program that says keep all of the ceasefire. If they say CEASEFIRENOW in any way, make sure they don't see each other. It's the equivalent of people trying to run to help. And which way do you need me to go for the help? Oh, that way to help, and then the next person comes and they go that way to help, and then it's like they're dividing our resources to make the change on purpose. All of these people are going to come under class action lawsuits in the end for the ways in which they manipulated us at the beginning.
Yeah,
it reminds me of,
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, it reminds me of the experiment that Facebook was busted on when like a decade ago, when they were for a period of time making a certain segment of the Facebook population only get bad news, and they were depressing this subset of Facebook users, and then they were only sharing with another subset all happy news and making them feel great. Like, I mean, we've seen entire villages of people murdered because of a sentiment towards a group of people, indigenous, the Uyghurs and things like that, on Facebook, and other village people, which is not the band, but people who live in the villages. And it's just bad. It's really, really bad. And we have to be super vigilant in these times, because these phones have overlords and overseers as well.
And most of
And
them
they
are white.
do not.
Most of them are white. And they're also cisgender and men and also heterosexual. But, you know, nobody wants to talk about that. But I will just add that to this point, I posted in old news last week. I found a post that showed just how many followers I had lost for posting about ceasefire now last year. And now Instagram has taken the majority of my story views. I used to have 30 and 40 and 50 and 60 and up to 100 and sometimes up to 200 people in my stories. Now I have 5 on the average. So I get it. And what I said in my stories was, humanity is worth it. And what I said on my threads today in regards to the fact checking that Meta took away, which wasn't doing anything, y'all, it was fact checking the people that are telling the truth, is that the personal connection is the most important. If there's someone, I did this the other day. If there's someone you think you haven't heard from in a while, like someone that you normally see stories from, and you're like, where'd they go? Like, I haven't seen them post in a few days. Go look at their page and see if they posted stories. See if Instagram is just hiding it from you. That happened to me with Toussaint Morrison here. I was like, I haven't seen anything from him on my feed or whatever. Like, I hope he's okay. You know, I hope local activist, I hope he's okay. And if he's not okay, I hope somebody's talking about it so that I can go do something about it. You know what I mean? Hope he has better friends, as we're trying to get for Charles. And he had posted many times that I had missed because Instagram is actively suppressing. So just do your due diligence, y'all.
I also play by the rules. You know, I'm a 1984 model of Ford Tempo, and I play it that way. Like, you know, if I've gone a few weeks and I haven't seen that person I was going to see in youth group or at elementary school before, you know, devices, it's important to rally and think of people. Sometimes you go though and look for them, and they're no longer here, and that's a whole different situation. So love all you can, do the best that you can. Consider looking into my Love Revival and Academy. I have a dream of impacting directly 800,000 people every year to help them follow their bold dreams and bliss, so that they're not so sad like I was. Some of you all know my story. I was suicidally depressed for decades, and had a bunch of amazing things happening in my life, but I did not feel loved by others, and certainly did not feel lovable, and that love could get through and penetrate my heart. Now I'm crying all the time everywhere and snotting throughout the house, because after 30 years of not feeling anything and trying to numb my life to homophobia and anti-blackness and queer phobia and joy phobia, black boy joy phobia. After all of that, now I'm actually allowing myself to feel my emotions and to let the light in. And I cannot wait to share many stories of local community advocates, local community artists, and also a bit about what I've gone through to get happy, healthy, free, loved, and lovable in life. So check out the Love Revival and also Love and Action Academy. Tara is helping me spearhead Adopt a Black Artist program. There's so many Black artists that need support, help, and encouragement, but you all are so mousy. And the thing that I want to share about this particular slide tonight is we have a saying in New York, closed mouths do not get fed. And so if you are a person out there who's needing support in any way, no one can read minds. So please reach out to our team, reach out to someone in your life who you know loves you and supports you, and ask them to take you in. It could be just encouragement, it could be financial, but we are providing the donation links and the direct needs of these artists weekly, and just building a collection of artists who we'd like to see uplifted. Remember that Black and brown artists make a fraction of what our lighter counterparts make, and so we offset with love, encouragement, and ducats. Speaking of which, pouring back into the community, Tara has a student, actually a group of students in the same family that have fallen on some tough times financially. So we are helping in our community, since we are a mutual support network, to provide the $200 a month to keep these kids in lessons. I've contributed already out of our house and our bank, and I would encourage you all to do the same. As a kid who went through music programs, and music as a kid was a lifesaver for me. I told y'all about the homophobia. I told y'all about the religion I was under. I told you about all of this. If it had not been for music and music lessons and teachers like Miss Nelson and Glenroy Bailey pouring into me, I probably wouldn't even be here. So consider as you start your year and in your giving, to contribute to Tara's link in bio to help these kids stay in their programs. Did you want to say something about these kids that you're able to say
Yeah,
before I go to the next slide?
I had to check with the family, but this is the two students are a 14-year-old girl who is phenomenal. And she is just learning to embrace her very high soprano voice, which you don't get a lot of at that age, and is really hoping to get a lead role, is auditioning for something at the end of the month for a lead role. And then her sibling is a non-binary 9-year-old who just booked the lead in I can't remember what the musical was called. It was some off the beaten path musical, but booked the lead, sang, I think we worked on 9 songs from the show. So at 9 years old, singing 9 solos in this show. Wants to go out and audition for Matilda in the spring, and probably will book it. We're working on many things. Tremendous actor, tremendous singer, just all around joyful human. So those are the two students that I am hoping to keep in lessons and help them out, help their mom out with this particular situation.
We are a fan of dreams and dreamers of all ages. So if you can pitch in, like I said, we've contributed out of our house, and Tara, of course, is contributing through her studio. So tap in if you are able to do so in this season. I'm also looking for people who are bold, who want to build something bigger than themselves. It's going to be at the intersection of music, theater, and art, and also inclusion for everybody. I believe that everybody deserves to have joy in their lives, dance, and meaningful contemplation and mindfulness practice. And so we're bringing that to the world through the Love Experience and the Freedom Band and cabarets and all kinds of cool kid things. If you're interested in auditioning for us and sending us your materials, and also letting us know what your rates are, because we do intend to pay artists living wages in order to kick it with us and spread love as we build the project, please send your audition to our link in bio. We would love to connect. I'm also teaching classes in the areas of vocal performance, life, and a few other disciplines. I drop these lessons throughout the week through free master classes. They're also available through our course catalog. So if you want to take one of our courses that's sitting on the website and you don't have the funds right now, let me know, because what I'm doing is not teaching every day, because Charles McNair, the Justice for Charles McNair project, and other projects are starting to consume my life. So if you see a course in our course catalog and you want to take it, but you do not have the funds, I can send you a coupon to get you the course for free, and that will be my free masterclass for the day for you. So we have confidence and courage trainings. We have some ritual vocal performance trainings, and we're working on others. But I will not be appearing in Twitch and TikTok every day to teach because the schedule is starting to get pretty tight and will continue to get tighter. And so because of the tightness, we're going to be doing the free master classes through coupons. I tried to throw a monkey wrench at Tara Praolo, but she's gonna PG-13 flow. PG-13. All right. Any closing thoughts?
I hope you all go out and dance. I hope you eat some good food. I hope you join us for the watch parties this weekend. We will be together for many hours. And I hope that your tummies don't hurt too much because I know that you all are secret Vikings fans. So I hope your tummies don't hurt too much going into Monday. Okay, love you. Bye.
Thank you, Tara, for always playing the sandbox with me and all of my crazy. You are a joy to be a co-conspirator and accomplice of magic with. We've talked a lot today about bringing joy back into faith-based institutions. We've talked a lot today about joy being an antidote for the harm and violence caused in the world. We've talked a lot about joy being a protest in and of itself. Every time that you choose to laugh or to smile or to dance, you are an active protest. And so continue to have that joy, especially for you activists. It doesn't have to get so heavy. We're going to restart and revamp and rebring online the Pleasure Activism Book Club that's still in pipeline and still available to all of our members. I wanted to be silly today and to end our podcast with the words of the great prophet and poet. Actually, it's written by Mark Daniel Sanders and T.S. Sillers, but made famous by that great prophet and poet Lee Ann Womack. She said, I hope you never lose your sense of wonder. You get your fill to eat, but always keep that hunger. May you never take one single breath for granted. God forbid love ever leave you empty-handed. I hope you still feel small when you stand beside the ocean, Tara. Whenever one door closes, I hope one more opens. Promise me that you'll give faith a fighting chance. And Tara, when you get the choice to sit it out or dance,
I hope you dance. You should
bye,
probably
y'all.
learn that song.
I do sing that song. It's just once every 3 years, and we haven't hit the orbit yet.
I see.
I love that song.
It's a great song.
There's a video of a couple of dancers throwing themselves across the floor while I sing it. I'm gonna find it for you in the YouTubes. It's a hoot.
I
Full
hope you never
theatrics.
lose that sense of wonder. I grew up on that song, child. I was a country fan.
We love it. I love the lyric though. And when you get the choice,
And when you get the
sit
choice,
out or dance, I hope y'all dance. On behalf of Tara Praolo Studio, Poppy Water 33, me, Andre in the Flow, and all of our healing practitioners and supporters and super fans throughout the whole ecosystem of Love and Action Network, stay in your power and yawns. Stay in your joy and yawns. Stay loved and lovable with your mommy yawns. And we will see you back in Love and Action Network next week. We love y'all so much. Stay groovy.